Okay. You ready to start? Jenna's looking up hair trends from the 80s.
You know what? I wish we
I'll
could
just pull
go
up my
back
high
to-
school yearbook for you.
I wish we could go back to the 80s because I loved how everything was exaggerated. You know, shoulder pads, big hair.
Yeah.
It wasn't so, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, it wasn't so Kim Kardashian. It was
Or
more
so-
about having fun.
Not so sleek and modern. Everything has to
Right.
be like non-existent. Before we start, there's something that I've been obsessing about the past couple days because I saw this article talking about how some people don't have an internal voice in their head. Like, you know, when you think, do you think in a voice?
Of course.
I never realized that I do too. And it's talking about how like a quarter of the population doesn't think in like that echoey voice we see in movies and TVs when you're by yourself.
Right.
So for the past few days, I've been realizing that I do have that echoey mind voice.
Like an inner dialogue.
Yes, an inner monologue.
As an only child, I spent a lot of time just talking out loud to myself. I still do. I get worried though.
No wonder she went into radio.
Right. I get worried though that I'll be talking to myself out loud in front of other people.
Oh yeah, you don't want to do that.
My mom does it.
Oh really?
Well, me and my dad will be sitting in the living room watching football or something, and all of a sudden you just hear my mom chatting away. I go, Dad, is she talking to us? Because I cannot hear her. He's like, nope, she's just talking to herself.
Oh, I wonder if that's healthy.
I think it's okay as long as you're not answering yourself.
My mom used to do it growing up too, but it wouldn't be like talking to herself. She'd be replaying phone calls when she got off the phone. And I'd catch her like mumbling. I'd be like, what, Mom? She's like, oh, I'm just remembering what Kathy said to me on the phone. I was like, weird. But anyway, apparently people that don't hear in a voice hear in like colors and feelings and stuff. I imagine like babies, before you learn language, that must be how we process thoughts. But it was I wish I should post it on our page because it was an interesting read. But I was like, now I'm all messed up about I'm hearing voices.
No, it's your own voice.
It's my own voice.
If you heard other voices telling you to do things,
Then
then
we
you
could
should be
talk. Okay.
concerned.
Weird news.
Weird
news.
All right, we'll kick it off with this one, and it's not a man that stuck something up a urethra this time.
Finally.
Woman gets emergency surgery after getting vibrator stuck in her bladder.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's a very small hole. I'm pinching mine right now.
Well, the vibrator she used was quite slender, and it was only meant for outer use.
Oh, so it was almost like one of those
It's one you wear around your neck.
Okay, like a little metal rod.
Yeah. Okay. So
Like a sound.
an Arizona woman is recovering from surgery after getting her sex toy stuck in her bladder. Now, she decided that she wants to speak out on this as a warning to other women that, hey, like this can happen to you. She remains anonymous, though, probably for good reasons. So her story begins when pleasure turned into pain in an instant. She said, quote, every time it went off, it was like my entire abdomen was vibrating. So not only did she get it stuck in her bladder, but it was turned on when she had it stuck in her bladder.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I imagine that could cause quite an infection too.
Oh, yeah. Well, they had to surgically remove it. Like, they had to get it out. It's not like it could have just chilled in her bladder.
Oh, so they had to cut her open.
Right. Yeah. So it was called the Vesper Vibrator Necklace, and it's by this company called Crave. She wore the sex toy, like I said, around her neck out to dinner with her boyfriend, Kinky.
Wow.
Then she later, when they went back to the house, decided to use it together. Said she was only using it on the outside of her body. It wasn't meant for insertion of any sort of...
But she did. She inserted
Well,
it.
of course. She goes, I moved, and out of nowhere, I just felt a really sharp pain.
Oh.
She said the vibrator was nowhere to be found. Her and her boyfriend were looking around for it, but she could still feel it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She said her first reaction was panic because she just lost something inside of herself, and it was still going off. I would have panicked too. So it was still vibrating in your bladder.
That would imagine you had to pee.
Or would it tickle a little bit?
I still can't get over that anything could fit up. Maybe I have an abnormally small urethra because I couldn't fit anything. Maybe a toothpick.
Maybe they do urethra play?
I guess so. I mean, we've talked about this quite a bit, and I can't. Every time I get the heebies.
So she goes into the doctor. They do like a pelvis exam, and they have no success. They cannot find this vibrator in the vagina. Well, duh. It's because it's not in the vagina. So they decide to do an x-ray on her, and this is what the doctor said. I was really surprised when I'm looking in the abdomen and realizing this device is actually in the bladder. I've never seen a case like this in my entire career. They realized that the device had actually entered the body through the urethra, went into the bladder, lodging itself sideways.
Oh.
So they couldn't have even gone up and pulled it out of the urethra.
Right. Oh.
So they had to do surgery and surgically remove it. The woman now is going to file a lawsuit against the sex toy company for lack of warning on the label that this could happen even during normal use. But girl, you weren't using it normally. It's an outer stimulation. It wasn't meant to go up any holes.
And there's a big missing piece of information there. Oh, I moved a little and all of a sudden I have a sharp pain. Moved your wrist up your urethra.
And it's fairly long too. So I think that like even if you got just the tip in the urethra, you would quickly pull it out, like knowing. She said the small and narrow design is dangerous, especially with a detachable chain. And her horrific vibrator experience has scarred her for life. And she said going forward, she's going to be taking it down a notch.
Yeah, I bet.
It's really funny, though. In the x-ray, you can see the actual vibrator, but you can also see that she has an IUD.
Oh, those are, I don't know. I've
Which
heard
looked a
stories about
little
those.
off, to be honest.
It looked like a T, a giant
It
T.
is like a T.
Oh, okay.
They insert it, goes in, and then two little T's.
Ooh, have you ever had one of those?
An IUD?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you have a good experience?
No, horrible.
See, I've never heard a girl that has a pleasant
I know
experience.
lots of girls that have had great experiences with IUDs.
I used to work with a woman that was having chronic problems in that area, and they determined they had to take it out. Once they took it out, she was fine. One of my sisters, same thing.
Yeah, and same thing for me. But for some women, it's just like, set it and forget it.
Wow.
You get it in, you don't have to get it in, a new one for like 7 years, I think.
Like breast implants.
Right, set it and forget it.
Okay, are we done with that story? Can
Right.
we make like a moratorium on like urethra stories on
What
this
does
show?
that mean?
I think I used the right word. Like a ban.
He'd like to cancel future episodes that
Yeah.
involve anything
Well,
in the urethra.
I would.
I originally had a story about how a new study says that pooping is good for your mental health. But we talked about poop last episode, so I decided to bring it back to the urethra.
Yeah. My mom actually mentioned that. She said, you guys talk about poo-poo caca a lot.
Right.
It's like, yeah, Mom. It's what the people want, okay?
So that's why I decided to switch that one out.
Ottawa's favorite podcast.
That's right. Thank you, Faces Magazine.
But that's why I decided to change it
Yeah.
for the urethra.
I
Although I do say pooping is very satisfying.
And
It's very satisfying.
But see, now I'm curious about that story because I feel like, yeah, you get rid of a lot of toxins that way. And
Well, I think it's just it makes you feel better.
yeah, you do always feel better
right?
after a big dump.
You feel lighter.
Yeah.
Quicker on your toes.
I just thought it was interesting that the poo is what my mom got hung up on, not me talking about jerking off in her house, in the toilet paper roll. But maybe she has enough sense to be like, I'm not going to discuss this. I'm going to block that part out. But she knows I poo because she's changed my diapers. All right, so here we are.
Was that recent?
No, thank you for
Just
clarifying.
wanted to clarify for the audience.
Thank you. Yes. No, a long time ago, about 25 years ago. So,
Wait, 25 years?
let's just keep it moving. I was like, I was trying to make
You wore
myself
diapers for
Yeah,
a
right,
long
see?
time.
Between the two of us, which one just shut their mouths, Jesse? I just want you to remember that at Christmas. That's
Yeah,
all.
well, that's what I was trying to make myself sound young, and I was like, wait a minute, that means I was still in diapers at like 7, so no. No, that was my real age. Don't do the math. Okay, so we're both still single and dating. What's
You
new?
were not 31 years old.
Close. 25 plus 7 is not 31.
Oh.
Okay, back to school.
Missed it by that much.
I will give you an education right now. I'm going to teach you a new word, a new dating term. Just what we need, right? You know, we should do like a test on all the dating terms since our old show, because we would talk about the new dating terms once a week.
Right.
Ghosting, sandboxing, cuffing. I can't think of any others.
As long as this new word is easier to say than urethra.
It is.
Urethra. Oh, damn.
The new word is whelming, like overwhelming, but just
Okay.
whelming. And it's when someone complains that they have too many matches on
Like humble
online
brag.
dating. It's kind of a humble brag. Yeah, why wouldn't we just go with humble brag? Well, it's very specific. So this is a term for when you match with someone on a dating app and then immediately start chatting with them, but instead of flirting or sexting, you start complaining about how you're overwhelmed by all the other guys you're matching with.
And then it's immediately followed by a block and delete. And yeah.
Yeah, I would
Why
think
would
so.
you want to date someone who's bragging about how many people they're talking to? Ew.
Yeah, it's such an off-putting thing. I'm guilty of whelming, if we're using this word, to friends to be like, oh, Jenna, I have so many matches on
Just
Tinder.
called bragging.
Yeah, but I would never match with a guy and be like, oh, I'm so glad to talk to you because I have 100 other guys trying to talk to me. That's such a turnoff.
Who has that much time to talk to that many people?
Yeah.
Get a job.
Me.
Right? Get a job.
Where's your wife? Isn't she upstairs making us a snack? Like, Jesus, John.
Whelming.
So rude.
That painted me in
stupid.
such a great light. Thank you.
I'm just happy that I don't date, so I don't have to worry about these dating terms.
I know. I think the logic is like they're trying to like make you feel FOMO, like, oh, he's got all these other matches, so I better be really sexy and rope
I should
him
be
in.
honored that he picked me, and he's got so many women to choose from.
You know,
What is this, a fucking warped Disney movie?
life is a warped Disney
Right?
movie.
Like, I always think about that Cinderella. Remember, he like had to find, like, he had all these chicks lined up for him trying to try on this slipper.
Yeah.
It's kind of warped and weird.
A little riddle about Cinderella. What did she do when she got to the ball?
A split?
She gagged.
I was going to say choked. Yeah.
I didn't write that one, but it's a good one. It's one I go to when people say, oh, you're a comedian, tell me a joke. Another one I go to is, what's the difference between being hungry and being horny?
Nothing.
Where you put the cucumber.
Ha! Touche.
Waka waka.
Just not in your urethra, please.
Right.
So don't whelm anybody. Don't fucking...
Just be upfront. Why can't we just be honest and open with people?
Well, sometimes people are sensitive, and it's hard to be open and honest.
That's true.
You know?
Okay.
But just don't whelm. Don't whelm.
I think we've all been in an instant where we have gotten in a battle with our city, with our neighbors, with someone in our,
Okay. Now who's trying to segue?
right. As a matter of fact, we have a past guest and a good friend of ours, Wendy Daniels, has kind of run into
Wicked
a problem
Wendy.
like this, and it reminded me. She has this beautiful home in Manitic on the water, and her neighbors decided to build like a coach house, aka another home.
AKA hashtag rich people problems.
Right next to her window. Like
Yeah,
when I'm saying
yeah.
right next, you can literally reach out and grab them by the throat.
It's awful what they're doing to her.
Right. So this is what this story reminded me of, and I think I'm going to send it to Wendy and tell her this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
And you need to do it sooner rather than later. So this is going down in Vermont, and this man is so pissed off by his town's zoning regulation that he's erected a 700-pound statue giving officials the middle finger. It's also lit with floodlights, so they would always be reminded of his feelings towards him.
Wow.
This hero's name is Ted Pelkey.
And this is on his... Oh, it sounds like Milky.
He's distant relative, one letter off. M-N-O-3-2-2.
Does he put it on his own property?
Yes, he put it on his own property.
Okay.
Facing them?
It's up high in the sky, and it's a giant wooden finger that weighs 700 pounds.
Good
Love
for
it.
him.
It's on a high pole in his front yard. So, yes, it faces the highway. So, it also greets everybody who probably goes in and out of the city.
But that's a lot of work just for a little thing to be pissed off. Like, what did they do to him?
Well, this is
Okay.
why he's mad at the city, because the city won't let him relocate his business from a nearby town to his own property. I think he has a garage business, sort of.
Okay.
A truck cleaning, I think it was. He said officials won't let him build the garage simply because they don't like him, and he thought a middle finger was just the right response.
Okay.
Gee, why don't they like him?
That sounds
I
valid.
like him.
Yeah, I do too.
The city doesn't like me. That's something somebody in the Glebe would say
Right.
after complaining.
Exactly.
Ugh.
Now, you would think that this wouldn't be right, that they would be able to somehow be like, okay, you have to tear it down. This is against bylaws. But no, he's perfectly within his rights to do so. In this town, billboards are banned, but the middle finger is protected because it isn't advertising a business or service.
Oh.
The middle finger is actually a gesture that is generally protected by, God bless America, the First Amendment.
Freedom
So
of
it
speech.
falls under the category of public art.
Wow. Well, good for him.
And I bet you he's going to keep it up there until he gets his way. And you know what? Good for you, sir.
Do you feel bad at all for, like, now, because I mentioned the Glebe, now I'm thinking of the neighbors with little kids and stuff. Gonna complain. Do we care about them?
I'm sorry, but little kids have seen more than middle
That's true.
fingers on television.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. What did we do? Suck it. Remember that?
Yeah.
What's your reaction every time you've gotten a letter from a fan going, my kids were in the car and I had to explain
Oh, it
this
just
to them."
fuels
It's
a fire.
Really? Your kids have heard this before.
Well, last night on the canal, because I'm doing this DJ thing with the NCC for every Saturday for the next 2 weeks. Come party on the canal. And they kept being like, turn it down, Jesse. We're going to get complaints. I'm like, ugh, it's 8 p.m. I'm not turning it down. So I'd be like, okay. And then I'd turn it back up as soon as they left.
They let you control the volume?
Yeah.
I thought it would be at a set volume.
Well, I think that's what they wanted. But
It was
I was
really
behind
cool.
the laptop.
As you're roving around the ice, people are following you and skating. It's
I know,
weird. You
it's-
look, yeah.
Oh,
feel like-
you're mobile?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
It's called the roving DJ. I'm a DJ now, apparently. But the NCC picked all the music. But it's cool because I feel like the Pied Piper.
Yeah.
Because they're like skating along like mice. And I'm like, come on, open your... Last night was 80s, so, or last Saturday, I should say.
Have you ever had a horrible neighbor?
Oh, yeah. But it's not even funny. It was bad. When my ex-boyfriend and I, our first apartment, he was really homophobic.
Oh.
And so he engraved fag on our mailbox.
Really?
Gross. And spit on our car window and stuff.
Ew.
I know. Gross.
Classy.
But we couldn't do anything about it because we didn't catch him in the act. So it could have been anybody. Could have been the mailman that
Oh,
engraved
if you'd
that.
known me then, we would have had you covered with video cameras all over the place.
I had horrible neighbors growing up, like my whole life, that lived next to my parents. Like absolutely awful witches. They had these two big dogs. It was a mother and a daughter. They had these two big German shepherds. They were actually like those really big German shepherds. I think they're called black German shepherds. I can't remember. But they were massive, and she never took them out to walk, so they just barked constantly. And every time a plane flew overhead, they would howl and howl. And these women would just stare at me when I had friends over. They would come to the fence and just stare.
Meanwhile, you said nothing about those dogs.
Right. They also would take the dog's dog shit because they never took it out. So all the dog did was poop in the backyard.
Ew.
Took it and put it in like all in the back of their yard. So it would smell in the summer.
Disgusting.
Oh, they called the cops. I remember I had a graduation party in grade 12 and it was like a parent children party. And we all left to go drink in a park somewhere. And
As you do.
as we do. And so it was just the parents partying. They called the cops on my parents.
Oh.
I know. They were awful.
Witches is right.
And then one day, this is how my mom is a bigger person. I told her she should have let the bitch die. But my
I've
mom
heard this story.
Yeah, my mom was outside, and the mother, who was quite old at the time, she looked over and saw her, and the woman just keeled over and fell on the ground. So my mom rushed out there, like got a pillow for her head, called the ambulance and stuff, and made sure she was okay. But I was like, Mom, you should have just left her there.
She couldn't, Marta. She's a nurse.
I know.
It's her instinct.
I was like, you're too nice. You're too nice. There was another time, too. The same old lady was outside gardening because they had a big, huge garden. And she was bent over gardening, and there was a bear that came into the backyard, and my mom saw it from inside. And I was like, Mom, you should have let that bear fucking eat that bitch. You should have let that bear eat her.
We're talking about like a grizzly bear, right?
No, it was a brown bear.
The other kind of bear, Jenna.
I was like,
Oh, no.
a bear eating her own could go another way.
No, no,
Okay.
It was a brown bear, and so my mom went out and started yelling at her like, get in, Phyllis, get in. Her name was Phyllis too. Of course, her name was Phyllis.
Phyllis. That's a good name to
Phyllis.
yell. Yeah, some people are so entitled, eh? Yeah. The thing that got me about my homophobic neighbor was, why are you so angry that you're going to go engrave someone's mailbox?
Right.
Like, that's the scary part.
Because he's definitely gay.
Yeah, yeah. Most of them are. I don't know. My friend Emily has this theory that all guys want to try the D at least once.
I could see that. I mean, men are very sexually driven,
Well, and they play with their own.
right?
Look how quiet. John's never been this quiet.
Circle jerk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You
Remember, who was telling us that's a real thing straight
Yeah.
guys do? So hot.
Is it?
I like those videos. I've clicked on a few.
There's circle jerk videos out there? Why am I even asking?
Of course. Of course. I'll send you my faves.
Educate me. What's circle jerk? Is that circling the hole?
Sure, John. Sure.
No,
You don't know
Circle-
what
come
circle
on.
jerking is?
I don't.
He's being facetious.
It's when
I'm
guys,
not. For once in my life, I'm not actually. What is circle jerk?
guys sit in a circle and
Jerk
they
it.
jack each other off.
Or sometimes you just jack
you-
yourself off, but you're watching each other.
I could never do that in a group. I could never do that.
Stage
in a group.
fright?
You're not gay enough.
I'll try harder.
Yeah, please do. So this guy in my story isn't just lacking the skills to be a criminal. He seems to be lacking very basic life skills because he got locked in a car. And I'm trying to figure out how you can do that. But let me tell you the story first, and then we can speculate. So this happened in England. Cheerio! Birmingham. That's, I was thinking London. I'm like, that's England, right? Not London, England? Or not Ontario, England? Wow.
Certainly not
I haven't
Ontario,
even had a
England.
sip of my wine yet. Okay, so this happened in England. Somebody saw a guy, quote, acting suspiciously inside a Ford Focus. Maybe the model matters. I don't know. But when the cops arrived, they found out what was wrong. This guy was trapped inside the car, quite distressed because he couldn't get out. And it's not clear how he was trapped inside the car because how do you get into a Ford Focus without being able to get out of one? But the cops determined that it was a stolen car and he was a thief. So somehow he was able to jimmy rig the doors open, because cars are so electrical now. So basically he was able to get in but not able to get out because the locks were those ones that go past the window.
But you just press the button.
But will it work even if the car's not
Yes.
on? Will it?
Yes.
We should test this when we leave.
I always do that because I have to unlock my car in order to open my trunk. So in the morning, I'll unlock my car, get in, and then I'll press the button to make sure my trunk's unlocked.
So maybe he was just high as hell.
Right?
But he was arrested for car theft, but it doesn't elaborate on the specifics of how.
He couldn't get the door back unlocked to get out?
He was in, banging on the windows. I'm trapped. And
I mean, maybe the model of the car does matter, because a Ford Focus is pretty small. Could he just not get his hand past his...
I think he was just really, really drunk, because I've gotten stuck in places and couldn't get out when I was drunk.
Yeah, I just don't know. But I hate how when there's these, it happens on Forensic Files and stuff, they never tell you how they solved it. They just tell you it was solved because they don't want you to know they're detective, hacks. So I feel like that's why they're not telling us, how did he manage to lock himself in?
This reminds me of the time I got stuck in a bathroom. Did I ever tell you about that? Locked in a bathroom?
No, at work?
No, this was back when I went to school in university in Alabama. I was so drunk. And I'd gotten home and my roommate wasn't in town, and then the two guys that lived next door to me were next door. And I went to the washroom and I locked the door, and then I came out and I couldn't open the door. The lock was broken. I could not open the door. So here I am, drunk as a skunk, sitting in a bathroom by myself. No one's home. I'm like, how am I going to get out of here? I start banging on the door, screaming, hoping the guys next door will hear me. They heard me, but they thought I was having wild, crazy sex. I was like, thanks, guys.
If only.
And so I'm like, okay, how am I going to do this? So I'm like, being a soccer player, the first thing I think of is kick my way out of it. So I start kicking the door, trying to kick a hole in the door to get through.
Maybe they thought you were heading it.
I don't know what
See
they
what
were
I did
thinking.
there? Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But I'm kicking the door, trying to get out, yelling for them. I'm yelling help, but they still thought it was wild, crazy sex. And there was
God, help! It could be rape.
Right. And there was this, oh my gosh, CD player.
Yeah.
Sitting, those small CD players.
Well,
you used
they're
to
old
have?
now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I forgot what they were even called. And there was one sitting in the bathroom, and I used to play baseball, and I have a really good arm. So I was like, why don't I try and pitch this CD player into the door, and it'll bust through in a hole, like a movie.
God.
So there I am taking this thing, doing a full pitch, windmill style pitch at the thing. It just breaks the
CD player.
Yeah, into a million pieces. And eventually I could manage to kick my foot through the door in a big enough hole that I could reach out and open it.
So you had to break the door,
Oh,
essentially.
yeah. I was stuck in there, and I was just freaking out.
That's scary. Imagine it was nighttime.
It was nighttime.
Oh, my God.
It was nighttime. That's why my roommate was out of town. They were at home just chilling. They were such stoners, too. That they were probably like, whoa, what's going on over there, man?
Speaking of Wendy Daniels, go listen to our interview with her, because she has a story about her and Sandy Sharkey getting stuck in a parking garage. It's very similar.
Right.
Yeah.
And that could only happen to them.
Yeah.
Of
but
course.
when you do get stuck in those small spaces, and if you are intoxicated, you just have a trouble trying to figure out how you're going to get out.
It's true.
Yeah.
But these modern cars, I had a car, it was what kind was it? Oh God, me and cars. I don't remember.
Was it
It
your
was a
last
GM
one?
black.
A red one, black
no,
one. Oh, the black one.
The black one.
Yeah.
But it had this problem called pass lock. So sometimes, and there was a problem with the models, I wasn't the only one that had it, but sometimes you'd go to turn your car on and it would think it's being stolen even when it's not. And it would put this pass lock thing and you had to sit there for 10 minutes. So sometimes it would happen at the gas station after you pump gas and you go to turn your car on, it won't. So you're stuck for 10 minutes at the pump. When it's busy, people are like, what's this asshole doing?
Right.
It was really frustrating. So we got rid of that car pretty quick.
I just find it very hard to imagine getting stuck in a car these days, because if you have you just can't unless you don't have the keys on you, but still.
I was thinking that if the key's not on you, is it not going to trigger the electrical to let you unlock the door?
But
Maybe.
on the driver's side door opens anyway, doesn't it? Even without
Sometimes you just have to do
unlocking or key?
2 pulls. Yeah.
Or just one pull,
Yeah.
Right.
and it unlocks it.
My truck's just
Because
one, I'm
that's
sure.
really unsafe. Think about if you fell into water
Or a
something.
fire or
Yeah,
in
and you
wa-
couldn't get out of your car. Whoops.
There's the wine bottle.
Jenna's helping herself to more wine, if
Just
you're
in
wondering what
case-
the noise is.
If you didn't believe we actually drink, I need to catch up. I shouldn't have put 3 ice cubes in this. What was I thinking? Now it's all
Ew,
watery.
you're so gross, Jesse.
The French do it, okay?
No, they don't.
Ice cubes in white wine, I'm familiar with it, but in red, that's different.
Yeah, I watered it
Sacrilegious.
down.
Okay. Have you ever made out with someone who's really horrible at it? Bad kisser?
I have one of my hugest fears is that I am a bad kisser.
I think you would know by now. You'd be able to tell with people's reactions when you first kiss.
Oh God.
Do they like tense and pull away a little bit?
No, you know what my problem is? I never know how firm to make my tongue. Like, do you go with a tongue
See, I
or
don't
more
like
of
using a lot of tongue at all.
like a sharp tongue or a wet? Soft?
Ew,
What would you
don't.
so what do you do? Just mash your open mouths together?
Yeah, or just don't kiss. I just don't make out anymore.
Well,
Let's skip the making out. Use that tongue for something else.
Oh, wow.
Lick some stamps so I can pay some bills.
I just want them to. I just want them to save their tongue energy for other things.
You know, I've heard some girls say, maybe you're one of them, that's like, if a guy's not good at going down on a woman, then you're just like, okay, that's enough. Just fuck me.
Exactly. I have said that word so many times. I have said that sentence so many times. It's true. You pretend to be hot and that you just can't resist it enough that you just want them to.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't take it anymore.
It is
but you can't
true.
take it anymore
Right.
for another reason.
That's what's the great thing about it is you can control them by grabbing their hair.
If they have any.
Yeah.
At this age.
I know. I know. So the reason I ask about kissing is because a Detroit woman is charged with assault for biting off man's tongue during a kiss.
Oh my God. Stop. This reminds me of a movie that just came out in theaters called Rabid. I highly recommend it. It's very gory though, and I didn't know that going into it, but it's about a model who has her face all messed up and she goes through alien procedure to make her beautiful again, and it works, but then there's a twist. And I won't tell you about
She's like possessed because they used other body parts from
something
evil
like
people.
that. Not quite, but something like that. Anyway, and that happens in the movie where someone's tongue gets bitten off. Oh, it was really bad.
Gross. That would hurt so much because you've accidentally bit your own tongue before.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's no reattaching. Like, it won't grow back or anything, will it? No.
I think you can reattach it if
Oh!
you find it early enough.
And then you'd have to relearn how to speak.
I
and-
know people that have had stitches in their tongue, I think,
For sure.
from biting it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Good luck going down on Jenna then.
Maybe the stitches would add a little extra groove. I don't know.
Depends on where the scars are, yeah.
So a
Okay.
52-year-old woman has been charged with aggravated assault because she allegedly, no, she did it. She bit the tip of the tongue off of a man. Holy shit. You say that, tip of a tongue of a man.
Tip of a tongue of a man. I think he's probably grateful it's the tip of his tongue.
Right? Mm-hmm. So her name's Eulette.
Actually, I don't know.
And she was making out with her friend, consensual makeout session, when she allegedly proceeded to bite the tip of his tongue off.
Bath salts.
Police found a 1-inch portion of his tongue was missing. They did recover it in his bedroom. So what'd you do, bite and spit?
Oh.
That's hot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you know how hard that, because it's a muscle. You have to bite through raw, it's like biting a raw steak.
But the muscle doesn't get too thick. And the tip is not that thick, you know? Oh, that would hurt. Anyways, the guy was taken to the
Jenna's gotta
hospital.
stop picking the stories.
Yeah, the guy was taken to the hospital. She's like set out. She has a bail or whatever. Anyways, but it just made me wonder, like, what is the worst kiss you've ever had? I've literally kissed a guy for the first time and had to push his face away
Why? What was the problem?
because he was trying to shove his whole tongue down my throat. Like, whoa, calm down, ease up.
Right away?
I feel like the tongue should be used more for like titillating and teasing, not like no one likes the thought of two tongues swarming around in your mouth.
Did he start with the tongue down the throat? Like he didn't even work up to it?
No, that's just how it was supposed to be a passionate kiss, but then it was like, and I was like, oh my gosh.
You don't even do like a little, because like I thought the tongues are supposed to like play with each other, like.
Maybe I'm a horrible kisser. I just don't.
Here's
not
Jenna.
a big. I'm not.
Oh no, wait, that's not kissing. That's not kissing. I made a motion for something else.
I'm not a big fan of tongue kissing.
No.
No.
What do you prefer? Like a
Yeah.
Like pecks?
I
I'm
don't
doing pecks?
know. Like there's like a mix of the two. Like if it's kissing before sex, then there's a little bit of fun kissing to it. There's like kissing and then you maybe bite their lip just a little bit or
yeah, Shaniqua or whatever her name. Eulette. Take note.
But that's kind of, I don't know. I just find kissing to be the most important thing about intimacy, but the least important thing about the intimate act.
Well, they say that's how you test chemistry. That's
Right.
the purpose of kissing.
So if a guy is going to kiss me and shove his whole tongue down my
the
throat,
chemistry's not there.
chances are you're going to be a one-pump chump.
Yeah, not a match for Jenna.
It's going to be like this. The sex.
wow.
But not in a good way.
You have to work up to that also.
Well, you have to mix it up a little.
That's right.
You know, you got to be a little fast, a little bit slow, a little bit hard, a little bit gentle.
Woo! I just got chills.
I know, we haven't had sex in a long time, if you can't tell.
We've started talking about potentially having a baby together. What do you guys think? Let us know. Jesse and Jenna's
Yeah.
Messy Podcast at gmail.com. I told my mom that. She's like, what would an Asian Jesse look like? Like, it would only be 1/4 Asian.
You already look like a K-pop star.
I don't even think it would have many Asian features. You would probably just get your nice high cheekbones,
I hope so.
and then it would balance with my
And my
long
lovely
Celine
hair.
Dion face.
No.
We don't want it. You don't want my baby. It'd be fat with acne every allergy
No,
in the world.
because it would still be my baby.
It would
too.
be an incredible athletic violin player.
And funny.
And funny.
So what makes a good kisser to you?
Oh, good question.
I think it's like the rhythm and changing it up and knowing when to be like sweet and gentle and knowing when to like kiss hard.
Yeah, I like I was gonna say like a rough man, and maybe I do, but I like a guy that's firm. Like I wouldn't want a guy that's too gentle while you're kissing. You know, like just like being very passive. Like no, rough me up a little bit,
But
grab me.
sometimes that's good kissing. That's when you're making love, not when you're
Yeah, I guess.
fucking.
I guess. I'm not interested in making love. It's been too long.
right.
So do we know why she bit his tongue? We have no information.
No,
on-
there's no information about that.
What's with these fucking stories today? No information.
I have a feeling drugs and meth were involved.
Poor thing. Poor guy. He's never going to kiss someone again.
Have you ever thought of biting someone's tongue off?
No.
And what it would
I've thought about biting a dick because not that I would, like not that I wanted to, but I just it's a lot of power.
He got upset about me asking about have you ever thought of biting a tongue off? He's like, no, gosh, Jenna. But I've thought about biting a dick off.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. I think it's just because it's like a lot of power. When you have a dick in your mouth, it's like you could change
You've
somebody.
literally got him by the balls.
That's right. I mean, a tongue too would be the same thing. I really couldn't choose. That's Sophie's choice for you. Would I rather have my tongue bitten off or my dick? Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh, that's really hard for you. Well, you don't use your dick much these days, so.
Yeah, I go with the dick. Then I just maybe become trans or something. I don't know.
Right?
Let's go all
well,
the way.
you could get it reattached like Bobbit.
I guess.
There's been many men that have had their penises cut off and reattached before.
Oh, please. I
But
don't-
your tongue, you couldn't do your stand-up comedy. You couldn't
That's
do
why
your
I'm
podcast.
Yeah. So we'll keep the tongue.
Right. Unless you got like a magical tongue of gold, like an implant. Gold tongue.
No. I was thinking those. Remember those self-castration pictures we were looking at months ago?
Why?
I don't know. Why were we looking at them?
Yes.
And you get mad about me bringing stories to the table about things going up urethras.
That is for some. Maybe that's how I died in a past life because that is like the equivalent to me. Like people can't handle like nails getting ripped off and stuff or teeth pulled out. For me, it's the urethra play. It really fucks me up.
Now, I have firsthand knowledge that you were at Wanda's and that somebody showed you the sounds.
Yes,
what,
Lana.
What was your reaction?
That I squirmed after.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't like. I mean, there's some that are the size of a toothpick
Wait,
where
what
I'm
are you
like,
talking
okay,
about?
sounds. Those are the tools that are
They're,
meant to
they're
go
a
up.
medical instrument that are designed to go in the urethra.
Medical
yeah.
instrument. Oh yeah, because
Well, they
sometimes you
are.
need to clear. Yeah, but sometimes people use them for other things.
Oh, absolutely.
But there's some that are extremely thick. Like there's some that are like your pinky.
Well, I guess you work up to it.
Yeah.
It's just like stretching any hole.
Imagine the piss stream comes out of the guy that can have a pinky up his sound, or does it retract
Imagine
like
the
an
cum
anus?
stream.
I just can't. I just can't. Come and pee.
Oh, now
ew.
I'm the one making things
Yeah, thanks a
uncomfortable
lot,
around
John.
here.
Thank you for listening.
Wait, I have one more story.
Oh, do you?
This we're
Oh,
gonna
shit,
finish with a
sorry.
wholesome story
Sorry,
about
sorry.
children.
Oh,
Okay.
fuck. We go from talking about pee and cum to
This is where we
story
this is
about
where we get the
children.
complaint letters.
Yeah.
How dare you
Jeez.
bring up children on that podcast?
Well, remember we have a young fan that's always like, put on Jesse and Jenna, and they get in the car and we're like,
It's so cute. My friend
true.
has a 4-month-old, and I showed up at her house yesterday, and she's like, "Oh, I was just listening to your podcast," and she's with her 4-month-old. I go, "Oh my god," because this little girl's like my niece. I was like, "Oh my gosh, don't let her know that I have a podcast because I don't want her going and listening to that
That's
shit.
it, yeah.
But then I'll be the cool auntie too that she can come up and ask me questions that she's not comfortable asking her parents about.
And what has she listened to it? Do you know? You don't know.
The baby?
Or I thought she was like older.
No, she's 4 months old.
Oh, I thought she was like.
No, baby. But I'm like, as she gets older, like she doesn't need to even know I have a podcast.
Yes. I have met fans of our old show that have kids, and when we started the podcast, they were like, I was so happy you guys were still on air, and they put it on, but they weren't mad, and I thought they'd be mad. Like, I was bracing myself for like, oh, they're gonna complain, but they were like, no, I just don't listen to it around my kids now. And I'm
Right.
like, okay, great.
And we don't want your kids listening.
No, 18 plus.
No.
18 plus, and also kids don't have purchasing power for advertisements. So
Or t-shirts. We're thinking of getting t-shirts with our little sayings.
yeah, say things like
God.
I don't even know what was the one we said last Friday.
We have to go listen to it again.
Yeah, where I was like, we need to get a T-shirt.
There's a lot.
Yeah. Would you
okay.
rather bite a tongue or a dick?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
I want to
don't
get Jenna's sleep shirt now that just says, just fuck me already.
Right?
What you just said a moment ago.
Shut up and fuck me.
That's the one.
I've literally said those words. Like, I'm not even joking. Almost with the same emphasis that you just said them.
When's your birthday? We'll get Miss Imagine that to create a shirt for
Right.
you.
Well, she's who I've been talking to about maybe doing some Jesse and Jenna merch for
Oh,
us.
she's
Imagine
amazing.
that.
She does all the BTR stuff.
But there really is nothing worse than a man that doesn't know how to go down on a woman. It's annoying. It's time consuming. Your mind wanders. You get completely I'm like sitting there being like, okay, what do I need to get for groceries? You're like meal planning in your head. Like, okay, Monday's dinner is going to be this, Saturday, and and then I feel bad for the guy because he thinks he's doing a great job,
I
but he's
know.
not. And it's just a waste of everybody's time.
I think people need to realize that vaginas and dicks are a lot more alike than different. Jamie Jones, our former guest, posted a meme showing the parts of the vagina and penis that are very similar. And the point I'm trying to make is they both need to be worked up. Like,
Not a dick.
You
You can blow on a dick and it gets hard.
Yes, gets hard. But like, you can't just go to a hard dick and start like ramming. Like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Really?
Like a
Because-
lawnmower. You have to work up to it. At least mine, and some of the guys I've been with.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just start going warp speed,
I guess.
John.
Depends on the moment.
That's what I'm saying. I
Depends
mean,
on the
I've gone
person.
warp speed before, and then there's other times where you take your time.
Yeah.
Okay.
It also really depends on like the moment you're in. Like,
And the man.
is
Yeah.
it like a wham bam, thank you, ma'am, I need to go to bed, or do we have some time to play around?
I mean,
for
if
a
the
little
football
bit?
game's starting in 3 minutes, you've got 3 minutes. I mean,
That's a
get it
wham bam,
done.
thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
You're even lucky if you get head then.
How was the Super Bowl? Wasn't J-Lo and Shakira amazing?
Sure. they
I'm
were great.
so disappointed there was not a wardrobe malfunction.
Oh, yeah.
Like-
Or was there?
Right. We don't know.
All right, let me get to my story about kids.
Oh, yes,
now.
yes.
Okay, so a woman recently posted a story on Facebook about she got her young son to start taking baths. He didn't like to bathe. She says he hated baths, so she took a photo of him sleeping and photoshopped cockroaches onto his body. And we'll put the picture up, and it looks really convincing, actually. Did you see it? There it is.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So she shared the picture on Facebook, and she didn't do the best Photoshop, but it fooled her son, who's only 4 years old. And after that, he's now taking 10 baths a day. So she posted
Well,
this.
that's not very healthy. for
That's
your
the
kid
problem. So
either.
she's like, I've created a monster. How do I now undo this? So
There's
she
a
learned her
lot of
lesson.
therapy in that kid's future. for
No, all
sure.
you do is take a picture of him sleeping now that he takes baths,
And say they're
or,
gone. You're taking too many.
or
It's-
take a picture of him and make it wrinkly, like he's wrinkling.
Oh, yeah.
like Benjamin Button style.
because you're washing too much.
Yeah, now you're washing
That's
too
smart.
much.
That'll scare the hell out of Jesse.
Yeah, that would
Right.
work on me. That would work on me. But did your parents ever do stuff like this to you? My parents loved to torture me, but not with food. Like, my mom would always leave Halloween masks around because she knew it would scare the shit out of me, and she'd kill herself laughing.
And now you love
No.
Halloween.
And now I love Halloween.
My parents weren't like that, but the one thing I was really bad at eating some foods. I usually ate everything, but cooked vegetables was always a big no-no for me.
Uh-huh.
So in order to make me eat my Brussels sprouts, my dad would play like this game, and he'd be like, "Okay, it's time to play the food guessing game.
Okay.
Close your eyes, take a bite, guess
Oh.
what it is."
And you had to eat it. You couldn't spit it out.
Right, but because I was such a competitive kid,
You would do it.
I would do it and be like, "I know what this is, Brussels sprouts, and they taste like farts." We still play the game.
That's a wholesome way of doing it. Like,
Right.
and every little kid falls for the choo-choo train. I don't know what it is about the choo. Open up, the train's coming. Ah! But
Isn't that what your ex-boyfriend said last time?
Just don't
Right,
tell him
works
it's the
every time.
LRT. It'll never get there.
touche. But my dad used to tell me to eat my crusts because it would cause hair on my chest. And as a little kid, I'm like, I don't want a hairy chest. I'm not ever eating crust again.
My dad would say that too about Brussels sprouts.
Well, no wonder you
Don't
didn't
forget
like
to eat your
them.
vegetables. It'll put hair on your chest. Oh, I was like, yeah. I was such a little tomboy.
Guys, kill me.
That's why Jenna's the man, I'm the girl.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I was a tomboy, but I still went to school in dresses.
Yeah, you're an
That was the
enigma.
funny thing. Do you know how many boys I probably flashed on the playground?
Which flash? Boobs or vagina?
No, like with my underwear.
Oh.
If I was wearing dresses playing hockey,
Yeah.
you know, on the handlebars swinging upside down and dresses over top. I used to jump on the trampoline in a dress with no underwear on. I was like, my parents, what is wrong with you guys? They're like, you loved it. I was like, but now if you think about it, jumping on a trampoline with no bottoms, like no underwear on, would feel really good.
Yeah. See, and she can't find a date.
I don't get it.
It's baffling. Unbelievable.
All right. Thank
There's
you
your
for
news.
listening again. Do we have anything? Oh, don't forget to sign up for our Botox party.
Yes. March 11th at Chrysalis Rejuvenation Clinic. Sign up to our event. We have a Facebook event. That's how we're tracking numbers.
Yep, you can even slide into our DMs and we'll add you to the list, but there are spaces are filling up.
Yes, they are filling up and they're limited.
Exactly.
And let me tell you, you're never going to find Botox cheaper than this. $3 off a unit. We're going to have the most amazing cheese board you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
And it's going to be a really good time.
And Jenna's
we-
going to get it done for the first time ever.
Exactly. And if this is a success, we could have more down the line. We just don't know. Mm-hmm. It's just the beginning.
Why don't we put a link
long.
to that event page on messypodcast.com as well for you?
Yeah.
Great idea, producer
Right.
John.
Done and done.
Slide up in our DMs, do the do. You can send us an email, Jesse and Jenna's Messy Podcast at gmail.com. It all works. We'll get you on that list.
Cheers.
You yelled. I was really loud in my ear, that one.
I can go louder.
No, it's okay.
Bitch.